welcome once again to the Luk'A'Here y'all podcast where with your host Miss Trina, where we talk about all things in home care, all things nursing. We have another episode today. Now this episode is on companionship. That's something that everybody in this world needs, companionship. A friend, somebody to talk to, somebody to vent to, somebody to share and understand what you're going through. Companion. And that's all right. Now I'm going to set the scene for y'all. Picture this. You spent your whole life surrounded by your loved ones, people you love, people you know, people you kick it with, people you grew up with, your whole life surrounded with this. Okay, now here you are up in age, and the phone calls are less, the visits are less, the conversations are less, until sometimes they non-existent. Now, imagine that same scenario, but put yourself in it. Put yourself in that scenario. Not your uncle, not your grandmama, not your granddad. Put yourself in that scenario. And that's the reality, it is, of some of our elderly residents here in Texas. Some of our seniors are lonely here in Texas. Companionship is something that we all need. You know, like I said, it's something that's necessary when you're either going through or not going through. It's just something that's necessary. I mean, who wants to be alone? You know, who? So today I'm talking about companionship, something that's just as important as medical assistance or ADLs. Because truthfully, loneliness is not just the emotion, it's a health risk. Companionship brings health and dignity. It does. Loneliness is, like you said, loneliness is not just the emotion. It's not. Companionship isn't just about somebody being in a room with you. It's connecting, engagement, and emotional support. Research shows that seniors who have regular social interactions are less likely to be depressed or anxious. And that's the truth. As opposed to somebody that's at home all day in the house by themselves or on the porch all day by themselves. Some people you can find that actually do that is really content. They don't need no companionship, so they say, until you strike up a conversation, a conversation that's very much so needed, especially when you find out a little bit about that person. That's all right, you know. But more mentally engaged, preserving their cognitive function, happier with somebody else just being in a room. I mean, seriously. Some people get happy with other people just being in a room, especially when they've been alone for a long time, or they just lost a spouse or a significant other or something like that, you know. Yeah, some people just need somebody in the room. Okay, now peep this. Okay, this lady that I used to take care of, she was in her late 80s. You know, she struggled for a long time with loneliness after losing her husband, you know. So I started talking to her a little bit, you know, about her hobbies, like what she used to do and what she used to, you know, basically be like was she active, you know, did she play cards, did she, go out with her friends, was she a part of a social group, you know, asking the questions. Because like I said, you know, in previous episodes, I'm real nosy, real nosy. But when I actually started, talking to her and like bringing a deck of cards to work or bringing dominoes to work, or like one time I had bought some yarn and two knitting needles. Baby, you know I didn't know what I was doing, but she said she used to knit. So I bought two knitting needles and some yarn. Honey, didn't know you supposed to have more than that. But still, you know, and that actually brightened her up. That made her remember that she used to crochet with her mama and her grandmama and them. So she went into her little living room and sat in her chair, and I sat on the couch, and I watched that woman crochet a whole scarf. And she was content while she was doing it. And she took a break, you know, to get a snack, to go to the bathroom, you know what I'm saying, something like that. But still, you know, she wasn't lonely. The whole while she was knitting, she was telling me about her mama, her grandmama, her aunts, you know, and a couple of her uncles. She was talking about her children. I found out that she lost two. You know, I mean, it's just that engagement with that person to let that person know that you are interested, you are here for them. You know, to show them that what they think and what they feel, it does still count. It really does. But when you look at it though, the physical and the health benefits of it, of having a companion, as opposed to not having a companion, because studies show, and I done did my research now, studies show that it actually lowers their stress levels and their blood pressure. Having a companion, they have better mobility and daily movements because they got something to do. They got somebody that's encouraging them to, get up, put some clothes on, girl, let's move, let's go on the front porch, let's go on the back porch, something, something to, to get them moving, in the morning because, some people when the morning time come, I know they're grateful for the morning, they don't even want to be getting up, and that ain't even cool. And they have better sleep patterns. Now, and now one of the studies said that it increases lifespan, which I can believe, and it really does, because when you take somebody that's been so depressed and so lonely for so long, and you make them a priority, in your life, and you start to, and you befriend them, and y'all are becoming more than friends. Like that's your aunt so and so, and you her niece so and so, like that. That's the kind of relationship. That's the kind of companionship that our seniors in Texas need. I mean, what we're in the senior, as it were, all over the world. Because people are getting old every day, by the day. So, with that being said, we have a lot of, like I said, in Texas, we have a lot of seniors in Texas. We have a lot of nursing homes in Texas, type A facilities, type B facilities, type C facilities. I mean, it is nothing to, it don't cost you nothing to be somebody's friend. Let me say it like that. Because human connection is a necessary thing, people. It is. Human connection is a necessary thing. Something as simple as a shared meal or a walk can make a big difference. When you go in there and make that person's dinner for the evening, make you a little something too. Sit at the table with them. Don't let them sit by themselves. Or if they like to eat in the living room, you go eat in the living room with them. Don't let them eat by themselves. Because when that happens, you actually have to be. Let me see. Okay? Now we in the part where we give it personalized care. The personalized care is for that individual only. Whatever that person like, whatever that person want to do, whatever floats that person boat, whatever make that person happy, whatever gets that person off. That's what we do. That's what we concentrating on, the personalized care of it. And not just humans, not just humans. It's a lot of companions that the seniors can have, that the elderly can have. Pets is one of them. Community programs. Outside of caregivers and family, but pets. You know, dog, cat, goldfish. you know, something. Something to keep them to keep them engaged and to keep them like in this land of the living with us. Because if you feel like there is no hope, then you're not gonna even try to get up in the morning to try to see if there is some. You know, and that's where companions come in. That's where loving caregivers come in. That's where loving family members come in to see the need and jump in and help. To see the need and step in and do something about it. So you gotta, okay, just imagine you are an elderly person and you spend every day alone versus one that regularly engage with a caregiver. Okay, so that difference in their health and happiness is like one and the same, actually. Because it's the difference. There is a real difference between somebody that's lonely and somebody that's got a companion. So, but there's some practical ways, though. I mean, it is practical ways out there that we can ensure that our elders, our seniors in Texas can have genuine companionship. Like encourage daily talks, just See what used to go on in their life. See what opinion they got, what dreams they used to have. Just talk and be nosy. Because, I do. And, like hobbies, like I said with Miss, girl, I want to say Helen. I don't know why I call that woman Helen, Miss Helen. But I don't even think I called her name. But, yeah, I used to encourage her hobbies and stuff like that, activities that they can do by themselves, and cell phones is just now, I'm not gonna say just now in, but for the elderly, if you teach them, you can let them FaceTime their grandkids or whatever from your phone. You can, show them games and stuff on your phone or on your tablet or whatever. Just introduce them to something new so they'll be more engaged with life instead of just giving up because they think everybody else didn't gave up on them. That ain't no good luck. And every effort, though, for real, I don't care how small, I don't care how teeny tiny, small, little bitty, insignificant, something that you think that don't even matter. Every little bit gives them a better quality of life. Every little bit you do gives that person a better quality of life because they know it's somebody they care and they can get with it and they can really get with it. They can really get with the times. That's why you have to be consistent in your care. You have to be consistent in your you have to be consistent in your care with each individual because everybody is not the same. They just not. What worked for Miss Helen won't work for Miss Mary. You know, everybody is individuals, and it's up to us to actually give them a better quality of life while they in their old age. Now, aging is inevitable. It is. Aging is. I mean, we gonna get old. We gonna get old, but we can prevent loneliness. You know, you can be old all day long, but if you old and lonely, that is not cool. I mean, seriously, you got too many people in your family. You got too many people. I mean, seriously, you got too many people around you to actually be lonely. That's not a good thing. So today, as transformative power of companionship, it actually strengthens the mind, the body, and the heart. And it does. Because without those three things, that person would feel like they considered, no longer a person. Like what we here for? Like what am I here for? I mean, don't nobody care about me no more. Don't nobody want to, come visit me no more. Don't nobody want to come see me no more. So, that, I mean, loneliness is not good. So, so we can ask ourselves, how can we bring compassion into somebody's life today? How? How can we bring that compassion into somebody's life today? Guess how, people? Simply by being there. Simply by being there. That's all you got to do is show up. It don't take nothing but a little bit. And on my next podcast, I would sure like for you guys to join me for my difference in companion care versus medical care. That's going to be a good subject too because I'm comparing the two. And I'm going to tell you something right now. One costs a little bit more than the other. So you need to be trying to pick wisely around here. So with that being said, though, thank you guys for letting me bend y'all ear on companionship in-home care or nursing in general. Thank you guys for listening. And as always, hit like, comment, and subscribe. And I can keep bringing you more content. And I can keep bringing you better content too, because my studio can get a little bit better if y'all quit tripping. Yeah, but with that being said, though, y'all continue to love each other. Continue to love each other. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.